Hello, welcome once again. My name is Emmanuel Odrojuma and I'll be your trainer for this entire series. If you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to it. Hit on the notification button to get alerted when a new video is posted. If you like the video, just hit on the like button. This is part 3 of the series. And I'll start part 3 by explaining how to get a table as an element on your page, which will be done with a table tag. But before I go into the actual code, I'd like to explain a few things about how a table looks like so that when you get into the code, you understand every code that we write. So this is an example of a table. So I'll explain a few things. The vertical cells over here are called columns. So vertically, they are called columns. So as I move my mouse vertically, they are called columns. So we have the first column, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So for this particular table, we have 5 columns. For the rows are the horizontal block of cells. So I have the first row, I have the second row, I have the third row, and I have the fourth row. So vertically they are called columns, horizontally they are called rows. But this table has also been divided into certain sections. Now the topmost part of the table is called the head. So this is the head of the table, and then all these correspond to the body of the table. So this is the head of the table, and all these are the body of the table. Sometimes you get tables that also have a footer, but this particular table doesn't have a footer. So this particular table has a head and a body. So we are going to base on this particular table to design the element to appear on our page as if we are adding this table onto our page. So we go into the code now. So to get the table element on your page, you have to use the table tag. So I type table, press enter. So because there are going to be different tags within the table, I would want to bring the closing tag downwards. So within the table is divided into sections. I talked about the head and then the body. So for some tables you get a footer as well. So we are first going to design the head before we go to the body. So what you do is to type T head for the head part of the table. I press enter again to bring the closing tag downwards. So we are going to design this particular head, but you notice that this particular head spans on the table as a row. So this particular first row was used as the head for the table. So what we are going to do is going to use a table row to define the head for that particular table. So I do a TR for the row, press enter to bring the closing tag downwards. So we have our table tag, we are designing the head, and then the head is a row. That's why we have brought the table row or the TR tag too. So what we are going to do now is to define the elements one after the other. So the student ID, the name, the age, the gender, and then the major. They are headings for this particular table. So what do? We type TH for the heading. So each heading, what will be the first heading? The first heading is student ID. So I'm going to duplicate the TH. How many are they? There are 5. So the next one is going to take name. The next one is going to take age. The next one is going to take gender. Then the last one is going to take major. So I save it, go back to my page, and these are my headings to the table. So on default or by default, you don't get the lines. The lines within the table would be done with CSS. So by default, you don't get the lines. So I have my headings right. All that is left is the body. So I'll go back to my code. So what I'm going to do is to define the data within the body of the table. And you see that the body of the table has been separated in rows. So I have the row 1, the row 2, and then the row 3. So what I'm going to do is first to define the elements for row 1. But those elements are found within the body. So what I need first is to bring up the body tag. The body tag is outside the head tag but within the table tag. So the body tag is within the table but outside the head tag. So within the body, the first data takes the first row. So what I'm going to do is to give it a row, hit enter, and bring the closing tag downwards. Now I'm going to give the data. This time around, the body is made up of data but not headings. So I'm going to give it a TD for table data. The first data is 001 for that particular row. The next data, so I have to make it correspond to the headings. So the first data is 001. The next one is John Doe. The next one is 20. The next one is male. And then the last one is computer science. So for the first row, we have 001, John Doe, 20, male, and computer science. I save it, go back to my page, and you see that I have the data in my table. It doesn't look nice now. Designing it, making it looking attractive, styling it will be done with CSS. All that we are doing is to get the elements onto the page. So I go back to my picture. Now I'm going to work on the second row. So what I'm going to do is, this is the beginning of the first row. This is the closing tag of the first row. So outside it, I bring it downwards, but still within the body. So I give it another row. We are going to work on another row now. Hit enter, bring the closing tag downwards. Now I'm going to define the data for the second row. So TD. What's the first data? 002. Duplicate them. There are 5. The next one is Jean Smith. The next one is 19. Jane Smith is a female, and then she majors in mathematics. Save it, go back to my, so I have the second data as well. So what I'll do is, we need our third data, come to the end of the second row, hit enter, define the third row, hit enter to bring the closing tag downwards. So I define my data within it. So what's my first data? 003. Duplicate it. I have Bob Johnson. Bob Johnson. Have 21. Have male. And Bob Johnson majors in physics. Save it, go back to my page, and I have Bob Johnson's data. So this is how to bring a table onto your page as an element. The next tags I'll speak about is the subscript and then superscript. So before I go to the actual code, let me show you how the subscript and superscript looks like. So the superscript is this 2 over here. Sometimes we use it when we are doing powers of numbers, saying s squared, y squared is z squared. So most of the times we use it when we are doing powers of numbers. When you go to chemistry 2, you can see them there when you are talking about the chemical elements, chemical compounds. You see them there. So the ones over here downwards are the subscript. So these are the superscripts and these are the subscripts. So let's implement this in our code and see how we go about it. So I'm going to implement it here. You consider all these as a paragraph tag. If it is a heading you want to use it for, you can also use a heading tag for it. But since this is not a heading for us, I'm going to use a paragraph tag to demonstrate it. So I have a paragraph tag. So without the subscript or superscript tag, this is how it would have looked. We would have typed it x2 plus y2 is equal to z2. So this is how it would have looked. When I save it and go back to my page, you see that I have x2 plus y2 plus z2. So I have to find a way of making the 2 over here a superscript. So what do? I have to put the 2 in a tag called sup or sap, any way you want to pronounce it. So I'll take these 2 away and bring the superscript tag. So I type sup, press enter, and then put that 2 within it. Come here, bring my sup tag, bring my 2, take away this one, my sup tag, and put 2 within it. So I save it, go back to my page, and I have x squared plus y squared is equal to z squared. So this is how the sup tag is, or the sub tag is used for a subscript. Sorry, for a superscript. So let's implement a subscript as well for this. I use a paragraph tag again. So without the subscript tag, it would have been C6, H12 and then 06. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take away this one, put it in a subscript tag, which is sub. So I put my 6 there, take the 12 away, bring my sub tag and put my 12 in it, take away the 6, bring my sub tag and then put my 6 in it. So I save it, go back to my page, and I have C6 H12 06. The next tag on the list is a break tag, and if you need a line break, you use the break tag. I'll demonstrate how the break tag also works, so that you see how visually it adds something to our page. So to use the break tag, I'll need a text. So let me use a p tag. Let me use a p tag here. So I'll generate a random code formatted well. Generate a random code formatted well. Okay, so I have a paragraph with random text over here. I'll demonstrate how the break tag works. So for example, if this was to be a poem, most of the times poems, when it gets to a certain point, the next part comes to a new line, just like that. If you don't want to be specifying different p tags for that particular poem, you can just get one p tag, write your full poem. If this part, from this part to your right, should come on a new line, all that you have to do is to insert a break tag here, br, and then you close it. So I save it, and then it brings that part onto a new line. So you insert the break tags where you want them, and it brings them onto a new line. So let's see, if I need a break tag here, br, enter, save it, and then that part also comes onto a new line. So if I need another break here, br, save it, that part also comes onto a new line. So if you need the line breaks within your paragraphs, you can use the br tag or the break tag. Sometimes the break tag can also be used to separate elements. For example, between the label for age and input for age, you want to separate the age and password. You can come to this side. There's the container for the age. So within here, I add the break tag, save it, and it brings it spaces the age and then the password. If you need more breaks, you can add another break tag, save it, and it brings it downwards. But adding more break tags is not advisable for a programmer. If you need space, the best option is to use CSS margins to get your spacings. So if you need space, just use CSS margins to get your spacings instead of so many BR tags. The next tags I'll talk about are container tags. We have two. I've already talked about one, but I'll repeat it for a better understanding. when we were talking about the form tags, we put both the input and then the label inside a div tag to group those two, the label and the input. So the div tag is one of the container tags. Now, when we grouped it, so for example, this particular label, age and input, which corresponds to this element on the page, when we grouped it with a div tag, the next element appeared on a new line, which means that the div tag, after grouping it, the div tag is a block tag. So it will group it within a box and bring the next elements onto a new line, because this container type is a block container type. There is another container type which is also inline. So I'll use a paragraph to explain what I mean. So let me bring a different paragraph here. So let me bring it here. So give my P. And give dummy text. Save it. So I have it here. So this dummy text, let's apply some of these. Let's say if I want to change this particular text, I want to change the color of it, I have to find a way of grouping this. Let me add this one, grouping this and then applying that particular style to it. That is where the container tags come in. So if I decide to surround this in a div tag, let's see what happens. So I have my div. Let me take away the closing and bring it here. So I have /div. So let me save it. You see that it brought that part onto a new line. If we want it onto a new line, we can leave it like this. But if we want it on the same line, but yes, so we want to group this and apply some formatting to it, then we use the second type of container tag, which is the span tag. So instead of using the div, we rather use what? Span. So we change this one to span. Save it, and we are back to where we were. But now I've used this span tag as a container for this particular text over here. So if I want to apply any kind of formatting, I can apply it to this span tag over here, and it will only affect the content of that particular span tag. So these are the two containers we have. The div container is a block type container, and the span tag is an inline type container. Sometimes in HTML, you'd want to bring, let's say, some special characters onto your page. Special characters like copyright, the less than, and then the greater than. You see, the less than and greater than are used when we want to use our tags. So if you want to implement it as an element, as a content, you can't use it directly. So unless you use some other means of getting the less than and greater than. So we have ways of doing it, bringing those special characters onto our page. So I'll demonstrate some of them, have a picture of some of them. So to get the copyright sign, you have to use the ampersand and then the word copy, and don't forget about the semicolon over here. If you need a trademark, the registered sign, use ampersand and then the reg and then the semicolon. So if you need the less than, it's ampersand LT, then the semicolon. So let's try some here. So I give a P tag, and if I need the copyright symbol, I bring ampersand and then copy. So when I save it, go back to my page, see that I have my copyright symbol over here. If I need the less than, is the ampersand, then LT for less than. I save it, and I get the less than symbol onto my, as an element on my page. If I need a greater than, ampersand GT, I save it, and I get a greater than onto my page. So you can take a screenshot of the ones here and research on some others. There are so many symbols that you can implement on your page as at when you need them. So what I have is the copyright, the reg, the trademark sign, the registered sign, the less than, greater than, the ampersand itself, the non-breaking space. So experiment on them and research more. As a designer, you need to research more on certain things. So how to get the quotation. So try them. The next thing I'll speak about is comments. So sometimes within your code, you'd want to add certain notes and explanations within your code, so that anytime you get back to it, you understand what your code is doing. Comments are not displayed on your page. They are just notes in the code for explanations. So comments do not appear on your page. So let's say if I want to add a note for the table and describe what the table is doing, I can. So this is how a comment is done: less than, then exclamation sign, then hyphen hyphen. You see that it gave me the other part of the comment. So I can now type whatever that I want to do. So let's say this table is for enrollment of students. So I can type enrollment of students. So this is just a note on inside my code. When I save it, see it doesn't appear on my page. So the comment was at the top of the table, but you see that at the top of my table there is no text as enrollment of students. So this comment is just for the designer to know what his code is doing at a certain point in time and doesn't appear on our page. So the last thing I'll talk about for this part is semantic tags. So let me show you what semantic tags really does for us. So these are the semantic tags that we have. It gives a structure to our page, and it helps SEOs understand our web page very well. So this is the full body of our page. So if you use the header semantic tag, you know that you are designing the topmost part of your page. So when you are designing the topmost part of your page, you put all those tags within the header tag. If you are designing a navigation, you put all those tags within a navigation tag. So the semantic tags gives a structure of your page so that SEOs can really benefit from that particular structure. If you need something at the side, you use the aside, the footer, and then the main body. You can get articles and sections within the main body. So these are the semantic tags. All it does for us is to structure our page very well to help SEOs understand our page. We'll be using these semantic tags along the line to group certain elements on our page and structure our page very well.